Welcome to this Killick Explains Finance video. This week, a question I get asked quite a lot: which is better, share portfolio or fund? So let's take a look. It's going to be a snapshot comparison, lots more information available elsewhere, as I'll mention at the end. So imagine you're going to go out and buy shares. Now, we don't recommend single stocks. That is not a way of making sure you spread your risk. So we're looking at the choice between putting money into our diversified portfolio of say 15, 20, 25 chosen equities and or funds, or simply handing your money over to one fund manager, a Neil Woodford for argument's sake. Which of those options gives you the better exposure to equities? And the answer, as ever, is it depends. Now, to summarise, how would you go about making that choice? So portfolio on the left, fund on the right. All depends. Here are some criteria to think about. If it's simplicity and an easy life you're after, then a fund will give you that, because you're simply buying shares in an investment trust or units in a fund, handing over your money in return, if you like, metaphorically, for one piece of paper, nice and simple, nice and clear. If that's what you want, then a standard off-the-shelf fund will give it to you. However, it may not be. If you want to see what's going on under the bonnet, if you want to know what decisions are being taken, when and why, then you're going to get much more visibility out of a direct portfolio run by a manager, all right? Because you can actually see what's going on and indeed influence it. And on top of that, you'll get more flexibility in terms of the way that the investment strategy works. And I'll explain what I mean by that in just one moment. I'll come back to that point. Now, a lot depends on how much you've got to invest. If you're investing relatively small amounts, as either a lump sum or a regular monthly payment, then to be honest, a standard off-the-shelf fund is probably a better bet. For larger amounts, your bang per buck may, and I stress may, be increased through some of the advantages of a direct portfolio. For access, again, direct portfolios can work in your favour. I mean, try to get a big standard fund manager on the phone to question their investment strategy. You will seriously struggle as a retail investor, whereas that is something that's perfectly possible through better access with a direct portfolio. Tax planning is important to some investors, so around the end of the tax year, there are one or two things you can do to legitimately reduce your capital gains tax bill, and that is easier with a direct portfolio usually than through a standard fund. And finally, administration. I've got to be honest here, revert back to a fund. If it's simple, low work administration you're after, then a standard fund will tend to give that to you. So there you have it, a blow-by-blow comparison. Now let's go back to flexibility, as I mentioned. Why am I saying a direct portfolio gives you flexibility? And for some investors, particularly with larger sums, this can be important. Because, first of all, you can follow a tailored mandate. The problem, with funds is you are following a standard mandate, if you like, and you don't have much say over what the fund does and doesn't invest in. So if vice is something you have a strong view on, by which I mean alcohol, tobacco, and say gaming firms, some people may want exposure to that, some people absolutely want to avoid exposure to that. With a direct portfolio and a more tailored mandate, you decide. If you want to invest tactically, so you think, crikey, thanks to the referendum result, the pound's plunged, dollar-denominated investments look like they're going to be phenomenal this year, and you want to get in there now, be a little bit nimble and ninja-like, then a direct portfolio gives you the ability to invest tactically, whereas you might be kind of screaming at the screen, wondering why a fund manager hasn't done the same thing. And finally, you can weight stocks according to the themes you like much more easily with a direct portfolio, because you have much more say. So if technology is your thing, you might get frustrated by standard indices with their very low weightings, particularly in the UK, and want something which gives you more buy-in to that sector or theme. Now, some people have said to me, hang on a minute, aren't you missing something? You've said it's direct portfolio or fund. What about going completely passive, stripping out the active managers on both sides and going for an exchange-traded fund? Where's that? Well, actually, I've covered that elsewhere, which is why I haven't mentioned it in this video. And just a reminder, if you're thinking, how do I find these other videos? Just a quick reminder, all you need to do is go to our comprehensive website, killickexplains.com. All right? A screen will pop up that gives you a menu down the side. Click on Funds. I've blown it up here because it'll be a bit small to see. Click on the Funds tab. Then look down and you'll see videos categorized beginner, intermediate and advanced. And cast your eye down and you'll find what are ETFs all about. If you're thinking that's a bit of a faff, how would I know to look there? If you simply type ETF into the search bar up in this corner, that video should come up. You just click on it directly. So that video in particular goes through the different styles of ETF and the pros and cons. Any questions as usual, editor@killick.com, and a reminder, that website address once again, killickexplains.com.